A lot of people have correctly identified that the Vampiric Bloodline Precon was not a good deck. The problem was not just with the design of the deck and the 99 cards included in it, but also with the commander Strefan. Strefan says two things. First, you make a blood token at your end step for each player who lost life in your turn. And second, you can use 2 blood tokens to cheat big vampires into play. Also, it's actually Strefan Maurer Progenitor. I've heard a lot of people call him Stefan Mortem Progenitor, which sounds a lot cooler, including myself for like the first year I had the deck. But I googled that shit when I was writing the script, which is actually right now, and apparently Maurer is his last name. So that sucks. I am not a lore enjoyer, but for a bit of context about who I am and a bit of my lore, if you haven't seen my videos before, which probably most of you haven't, my name's Clancy, and I make primarily Shrek YouTube videos. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. And yeah, this was the first deck I ever had. When I first sat down to play a game of Magic the Gathering, it was September 2022, and my friend Tristan let me use a spare deck of his that had Mathis Fiendseeker as the commander. I didn't know it at the time, but the deck was normally headed by Edgar Markov, and it was actually a vampire tribal deck. After the game, I said I would definitely be interested in playing Magic again, and I said I loved the vampires I got to play with, to which my friend James said he had a red and black vampire deck that he recently bought and wasn't sure he actually wanted. Also, our friend Matt was there. Wait, it didn't play.
Matthew!
Oh, fuck! Ooh, that was loud, man. Jesus. So I bought the Strefan deck off James, and I got my first deck. Not a great deck, but it was mine. And I went on that journey we all go on of upgrading my first Precon. Since I was new though, I didn't have the knowledge or the gameplay experience to realize what you can and can't do to a deck to make it better. I made a ton of mistakes upgrading this deck, and repeatedly too. I tore the deck down and built it up over and over, never building something that worked. I knew that the deck had a significant number of high mana value vampires in it, but with the commander often actually failing to cheat them out, I figured I needed something else to help. So I put big mana ramp in the deck, like Thran Dynamo, because I thought the deck was a big mana ramp deck. It wasn't. I didn't know that, but since I heard how good card draw was, and since I had big mana now, I put Vilis, Broker of Blood in the deck. A demon that is 8 mana. This is a great card draw card in a demon deck that is focused on cheating out demons, which this deck isn't. I learned how important removal was, and I thought I was implementing my newfound game knowledge by putting Avatar of Woe in, which is also 8 mana, and also isn't a vampire, so Strefan can't cheat it in. I think I honestly thought that Archfiend of Depravity was a vampire since the artwork looks so much like one, but no, I put another demon in the deck. This one was only 5 mana though. I put an absolute pet card of mine in the deck. That's Lolth. Honestly love this card, but fuck me if anyone can tell me how this synergizes, and it's also 5 mana. So since I was annihilating the cheat vampires in theme, I thought, hey, what if I put a Phyrexian Reclamation in the deck? This card is an amazing recursion piece, but unfortunately this isn't a reanimator deck. Same with Cruelty of Gix, which, you guessed it, has nothing to do with Strefan at all, and it costs 5 mana. Okay, so if the deck cheats in vampires, then we need more vampires. So who should we put in? Well, if you guessed Sorin Markov, the canonical vampire planeswalker, then you would be wrong. His card just says planeswalker, not vampire. Incredible second ability, but it's 6 mana to do this probably one time. So of course, I just had to put a copy in. Probably took out a land for it too. So if you were like me, a new player who built a non-functioning deck, you might be struggling to win games. It might feel like your deck is always one turn behind your friends. And you might do what I did, which is turn around and say, if my deck is too bad to win against your deck, then I'll just make your decks also bad and put a bunch of stacks pieces in your deck.
Grave Pact.
Right, that's not
No mercy.
Right, that's not how the fucking book works!
Painful Quandary.
Holy shit, like you were right!
Oh, and also Erebos, God of the Dead. The meme only had Moom.
Oh my god, bro.
No, cut that out, man. Lucas, don't put that in. The meme only had room for 3, but I wanted to talk about 4. All of these cards were put in the deck to slow down our opponent's game plans, and since none of them are vampires, none of them are really contributing to our game plan. They're all good cards in their own archetypes, but all of them don't go in this deck. Finally, there's Maze of Ith. And this is a tricky one for new players to grasp, but there are some cards that when they hit the table, they're actually just too good for our opponents to overcome. And yeah, Maze of Ith is a little too good. Like I said, I didn't have the gameplay experience to know what I should and should not do in a game of Magic, but I learned. My primary feedback about how oppressive and overpowered my cards were came from my Goth GF, someone I love, and someone I live with. You know the saying, it's a small world? Yeah, well, it most certainly f***ing is when you have to cook dinner with someone you just oppressed profoundly with a grave pack for half an hour.
But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
So her experience in any game of Magic became extremely important to me, and I've now adopted a golden rule in my deck building decisions. It goes, do unto others as you would have them do to you. And she did do unto me anytime she'd play using my decks, but it is a very small world out there. Everyone I play with is like a mini girlfriend to me. A game of Commander is like a micro polycule. You are all in a relationship with me now, especially you men, which is like 99% of you. You are my boyfriend now. What are you, gay? Also, that makes me gay. Nah, I'm gonna go with deeply closeted. Next question. What? Oh, right. After a few interim redesigns of the deck and a lot of lessons from other decks, I found the proper approach to upgrading this one. I couldn't see it without experiencing it, but Strefan is actually a good card. If he gets his blood tokens, that is. So Strefan,
although you're fucking dodgy, I think you're sound.
if he gets his blood, he will massively reward you. And he does all of this from behind the dark visage of being not really good enough for removal. This is my favorite type of commander to pick. The more remove on sight your commander is, the less enjoyable a game will be. Well, that's a personal opinion. I guess that might be a bit of a hot take, since so many people are playing commanders like Miram, Petlaza, Atraxa, Voja, or Kalia. Kalia is actually a really good analog for Strefan. My friend Rubbed Genie, who actually makes the backgrounds to these videos, which you can see on screen now, his Instagram is in the description. Whoa. Shit. He has a Kalia the Vast deck. Where Strefan is only good when he has blood tokens, Kalia is just good. But this really funny thing happens with Strefan when you play him. People have already determined that he isn't actually any good, but then once you have the blood tokens, he's now good, and yet their threat assessment just doesn't catch up to them. They don't have the, oh, he's now just as good as Kalia thought. That part just never happens. So this being worse than Kalia thing is actually kind of a sleight of hand. Running worse commanders can really pay dividends given the nature of this multiplayer format. So this is a hot tip for new players. If you picked up Strefan as your commander, be under no illusions. You picked up a deck that wants to run on blood. Strefan cares about two things: spilling blood and summoning vampires. That's it. He doesn't care about sacrifice triggers. He doesn't care about recursion. It's not like that stuff isn't great, but if you want to put recursion cards in a deck, you can just build a second deck, and that can be where you put that stuff. You need to read the card for what it is, and this is maybe the trickiest part for new players. Deciphering the specifics of what the words on Magic cards really mean. But guys, just a quick PSA before I continue. There's a fake YouTube channel that's pretending to be me. Their channel looks exactly like mine, with the exact URL and everything. So guys, unsubscribe from him. He is fake. If you want to check if you're subbed, just click my portrait under the vid and it'll take you to the fake channel where you can unsubscribe. Anyway, in this deck, there are 2 steps to success. Step 1, hurt the greatest number of players during your turn as humanly possible. Hurt physically, not emotionally, and also not physically as in the game. Don't punch anyone, and don't say any slurs. And look, I know you. I know how much you love saying slurs. No, don't do it. No more. It doesn't need to control you anymore. And step 2, have vampire cards in your hand. 1 + 2 equals you get free shit. You can cheat mana costs hard if you dedicate your life to it. You can cheat on so much shit, man. So how do you get Strefan his blood tokens? Well, lucky for you, you've got 99 other cards to choose. If you build a deck that's dedicated to getting him his blood tokens, he will get them. So how many cards do you think we need to dedicate to getting blood tokens in our deck? What, like 21? Nope, not enough. We have 34 cards in this deck that can get us blood tokens in some way. Whether it's the card itself giving us the blood tokens or by damaging players. Which I need to stress, the word listed on Strefan is players, not opponents. So damaging ourselves during our turn is 100% a part of our game plan. We're also running 17 cards that I consider big vampires to cheat in. Now some of those don't cost that much mana and some of them aren't actually vampires, but I'll talk about all those cards in a second. What I need to point out here are those numbers again. 34 and 17. 34 is a number that should mean we're seeing at least one of these cards in our opening hand, and good odds to get 2 within the first few turns. And 17 should mean that we should draw at least one of these cards during the first few turns of the game as well. We don't want to go higher than this though, since the 17 vampires are dependent on our 34 ways to generate blood. It's imperative that we have higher numbers of our enablers over our payoff. Remember kids, payoff ain't shit without enablers. But wait a second, all well and good, 17 big vampires, that's great. We need them in our hand though, not just in our deck. So how many draw cards are we running? Well, this exposes the fundamental flaw in creating a tribal deck. Tribal meaning centered around one creature type. We're only running 13 draw spells. You might say we can lean on our blood tokens to fill in the gaps, but I almost never use the blood tokens to discard and draw. It doesn't even work when we have 0 cards in hand since the discard is part of the cost. But I get to use a new card, Monument of Endurance, which I am going to get a copy of and slam in this deck since it gives us so much value for discarding. So I might start doing it with that card around. Anyway, what's the fundamental flaw with tribal decks? The problem is this deck is just squeezed too damn tight and it can't push its numbers any higher without more of our ultra secret deck building technique, overlap. Only 4 of our draw cards are also vampires, which is not enough. So the rest of our draw needs to overlap neatly with our biggest category, the make players breed? No? Fuck it, Lucas, leave that part in. The make players bleed profusely during our turn category. We're really lucky here since we are effectively in 2 tribes, where Kalia gets to pick from 3, the Angel, Demon and Dragon tribes for all of her main card categories. We pick from just 2, but one of our tribes is actually a mechanic, not a creature type, which makes for a much broader card pool to pick from than any Kindred strategy gets. There are only so many pieces of card draw that even are vampires, and in order to fill out our numbers, we need cards that are essential categories like card draw and what the deck wants, vampires. We need cards that are both. That's the problem with Kindred stuff. You can't overlap hard enough if you're just doing a tribe. Real quick, I'm just going to change the subject to say, I'm going to reply to all of your comments. Look at me in the eyes. Now you know me. I'm going to answer all the questions. Last video has 350 comments, because half of them are fucking me replying to people. Drop some real shit down below, alright?
Quick question, boss. Yeah. Have you ever been in love? Yeah.
Don't just do the normal shit. Ask me completely unrelated shit, and I'll fucking answer it. Anything you want. Get creepily personal. But enough foreplay. You dog, you. Let's get into the card draw. I'm going to start with a banger. It's Braid's Arisen Nightmare. And from Braid's, it's all going to be downhill. But I mean, like, just look at Braid's. God damn, this card is a thing of beauty. So Braid's, for anyone who doesn't know, is great in a lot of decks. And this one is no exception. The way we're going to use her is by sacking a blood token on our end step, and then for each opponent who doesn't sacrifice an artifact, we draw a card and they lose 2 life. Which quite often will get us 3 cards, and as long as we do have a Strefan trigger and we stack it right, will get us back 3 blood tokens, which is phenomenal. This card does everything we want. After that, it's Phyrexian Arena, which draws us 1 card, and then because we lost a life, we get 1 blood token. Yeah, I mean, compared to braids, not quite as good. I told you, it's all downhill from braids. Next, it's Scion of Opulence. This fucking card, I wish it was good here, and in fact, it isn't. And I was just about to finish my script when my friend Steph suggested that I put Descent into Avernus into my deck. I can't believe I'd never considered Descent into Avernus before. Fuck Scion of Opulence. So she's getting cut from the script and the deck, but I do still want to mention why that second ability is bad. So if we pay 1 red and sacrifice 2 blood tokens, we can exile the top card of our library and we can play it this turn. So you're probably saying, oh great, card draw.
Ladies, I think what we mean to be saying is...
This does not put the card in our hand. If we exile a big vampire, now we have to fucking pay the mana. And it costs us the 2 blood tokens we were hoping to spend on Strefan anyway. Next, it's Underworld Connections. This is just a worse Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, that's not good.
What the fuck are those things?
I'm so confused right now.
Card draw's not looking so hot so far, is it? Okay, I'll spice it back up with a new card, Scrawling Crawler. This thing says at our upkeep, everyone draws a card, and when our opponents draw, they lose life. So again, this is going to be 3 blood on our end step. It means our opponents have to be really careful if they want to draw tons of cards. Yeah, that's going to suck for them. Similar to Scrawling Crawler, we have Stormfist Crusader, but it only does half of what Scrawling Crawler does. Next I'll mention Valakut Awakening. It's a good card draw card, and it's a land on the back. So once again, hitting multiple categories. Then it's Pitiless Carnage. It lets you sack permanents to draw that many cards, so it cares about our blood tokens, and with the plot mechanic we can pay now to cast it later if it's turn 3 and we don't have any yet, which gives it nice flexibility. Next up, it's the first big vampire to cheat in we'll be talking about, which is going to start at 4 mana with Twilight Prophet. But what's with that artwork though, Watsy? What is this? A woman? Woke?
Oh my god, bro.
What's next? 2 men? That'd be ridiculous. Anyway, this card says, first we need the City's Blessing, then on our upkeep we reveal the top card, put it into our hand, and as long as it's not a land, our opponents lose some life and we gain some life. So this can trigger Strefan to get us 3 blood. A very nice synergy. Unlike some vampires I know. Next, it's Champion of Dusk, and he is a very spiffy looking gentleman. Probably lives in a spooky coffin. Unfortunately, he's not that great. So he enters and you lose X life and draw X cards where X is your vampire count. So that's like sometimes 3, maybe. And then because you lost life, that's 1 blood token. But wait, High Society Hunter, another woman, bringing it back for the girls.
This is for the girls, this one.
And look at this bitch. I think she is currently giving us cunt, actually. Yeah, I don't know what I just said, but my gay friends say it. She looking like
The vampire goth girl. She always dresses as a vampire. Don't ever say Dracula and Nosferatu are the same. They are not the same. They will beat the shit out of you if you say that.
But she's actually a fucking good card too. We don't care about this attack thing, but she says whenever another non-token creature dies, we draw a card, so that includes our opponent's shit. Now that's good card draw. Next, some more not so good card draw, it's Monumental Corruption. You can target a player and they draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. I do feel like mostly when you cast this you get at least 5 cards for the 5 mana you pay, but getting more than that is kinda unlikely. We are making blood tokens in this deck, but don't forget we want to spend them too. Last card draw piece is Crossway Troublemakers, and these guys are definitely giving each other cunt. I think I'm using that right now. I haven't checked with my gay friends, but they all love me very much, so who fucking cares actually? This card gives attacking vampires Death Touch and Lifelink, which both go a long way, and then when our vampires die, we get to draw cards. So it's kinda insurance against board wipes, which is nice. So that's card draw, and like I've been saying, vampires don't make the strongest draw pieces, but one thing they can do is removal. But before I get into the vampires, I'll mention a few more generic removal cards I'm running, like Feed the Swarm, Rakdos Charm, Bedevil, and Chaos Warp. These cards aren't anything special, they're just decent removal in red and black. There's also Fell the Profane, which is only good because it's a land on the back, so it makes it super easy to slot in. I'm also running a few board wipes here, and I've chosen 3 that all do something similar, and that is, they only really hit our opponents. This is almost a prerequisite for me now, since there are so many board protection spells out there, like all the ones I had in my last video. But anyway, those cards are Mizium Mortars that cost 6 to overload and deals 4 damage to all our opponent's shit, and Delayed Blast Fireball, which is 2 to foretell and then 6 to deal 5 to all their shit. A lot of mana, but the Fireball is also instant speed, so I think it's worth it. The last one is Vampire's Vengeance. It's also instant speed, which is nice, but it's just 2 damage to all non-vampire creatures, and then we get 1 blood token. So in this deck we do have a few non-vampire creatures, but this 2 damage is only strong enough to kill 5 of them. One of them is Anger, which we actually want in our graveyard, so no downside there. Next is Boggart Trawler, which only has an ETB trigger, so who cares about that? The next 3 are Scrawling Crawler, Stormfist Crusader, and Marionette Apprentice. And this is shit. All 3 of these cards are really good, so there could be some unfortunate collateral when we cast this card. But I actually will mention the single blood token that this card gives literally won me the game once. The 2 damage was enough to get some blockers out of the way, and the free blood token meant I could afford the 2 that Strefan needs, and I could bring in something big for lethal damage. So don't discount how important a single blood can be. Next up is New Blood. Now this thing, seriously, if your commander is a vampire or something, put this card in your decks. I'll read it to you. So it costs 4, additional cost, you have to tap one of your vampires, but then when you do that, you steal one of your opponent's creatures and then change the text on that creature by replacing all instances of one creature type with a vampire. So how this works is you steal a Miram, of course you have to pay the ward. Why the fuck does Miram have ward? And then you change dragon to vampire. Now whenever one of your vampires enters, you get free copies. You steal a Krenko, now he taps to make vampires equal to the number of vampires you control, which includes himself. You steal Gargos, now your vampires cost 4 less to cast. You get it now? My personal favorite, recently I stole a Min, and instead of changing Gnome or Wizard, I chose Illusion. And then when I drew my 2 card, No man, that is not... It says second in the script. And then when I drew my second card, I made a vampire that got buffed per vampire I controlled, and when my vampires died, I could put permanents onto the battlefield for free. Obviously it got killed immediately, but fuck, it was gonna be good. I got a text. What was I up to? The possibilities with this card are endless, so please use it. Speaking of vampires, the vampires that do removal. So these cards are all in the big vampires that we're going to cheat in category. And the first one, another spiffy looking gentleman, it's Dark Imposter. Yeah, it only costs 3 mana, but if we cheat it in, we can pay the 6 mana to exile something and give Dark Imposter its activated abilities. The Vatican has announced the death of His Holiness Pope Francis. So we're skipping 3 out of 9 mana. I wish it was the other way around, but every little bit helps. So what do you guys think?
Next.
Yeah, it's kind of fair enough. Well, this one's Markov Enforcer, and she's a 6/6, and when she enters... You guys know about object permanence? Have you heard of this? Yeah? Well, Markov Enforcer says... Fucking touch me, cunt! Now you don't, and if the thing dies, she makes you a blood token. But this also triggers whenever another vampire enters. So she's just gonna kick the shit out of our opponent's creatures over and over again. She'd be like... Another one. Okay, so this is what vampire removal looks like. You guys remove stuff how you like, and me?
Okay, now let me show you how I would remove it, okay? See these 3 here? Ready?
Well, granted they're gone, but you can't garden with a shotgun.
They have ceased to exist.
Patron of the Vein. He's gonna come in and be like, Shadow Realm. And then continue to be like, Shadow Realm. He enters and you destroy something. But also, whenever your opponent's shit dies, he's going to exile it instead, and then all our vampires get 1/1 counters. The last big vampire to cheat in that's also removal is Shadow Grange Archfiend. And he's like...
I'm not loyal to anybody, I'm a demon!
Which is understandable, since he's a demon. He's in this category because we still cheat him out using blood tokens, it's just we do it with the Madness thing instead of Strefan. And Madness is probably very difficult to understand for new players, but I'll just say what happens. We pay 1 and sack a blood to discard a card and draw a card. The card we discard is this one. And then when we do that, the madness triggers and we can cast Shadowgrange Archfiend from exile by paying 3 mana and 8 life. We usually get a bunch of life back though, since when he enters, each op we have has to sack their biggest guy, and then we gain life equal to the biggest power among the dead guys. So he's maybe a bit confusing, but if you're followed, since we can sack our blood at instant speed, that means we can cast him at instant speed, which is absolutely huge. So that's our removal. We're running 16 pieces total, and oh, hold on, sorry, I'm getting a call. Hello?
Clancy, you there?
Oh yeah, Bob Cutter.
Now look, mate, we've always been good friends.
Yeah, no, actually, we haven't met Bob.
No.
Oh, okay.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
I'm just ringing up.
Yeah.
I'm not going behind your back.
Sorry, Bob, I'm just filming a video, mate. I think it's going to be quite good, actually.
We got it in the bag.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
Why do you think they call it Mount Remarkable?
I have no idea, Bob.
No.
Yeah, no, sorry, Bob. I gotta go. Sorry, that was politician Bob Catter. Yeah, he'll just, you let him talk, he'll fucking chew your ear off, mate. So, yeah. He said this.
I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
Which was insane. Anyway, moving forward, do you think we have 1 vampire that's ramp as well? Or did we squeeze 3 into the deck? Trick question, it is fucking 0, since the only one was Scion of Opulence, and we already cut that shit. The ramp is mostly just mana rocks. And what do you think of the first one? It's Soul Ring.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I thought you might. It's popular. Next, how about Cryptolith Fragment?
Absolutely not. This, I hate.
No, this is one of the best cards in the deck. Okay, yeah, it then is tapped and it costs 3, so it doesn't help us get Strefan out quicker, but whenever we tap it for mana, each player loses 1 life. This 1 mana rock will get us 4 blood tokens every turn with Strefan, which is incredible. In fact, if we use this to cast Strefan, it gets us 4 blood tokens the turn he comes down. Remember when I was talking about Kalia? Yeah, getting 4 blood a turn makes Strefan just as good as Kalia. Also, I have actually won a game with the back face, so that's not nothing. Most of our ramp is just on 2, like Talisman of Indulgence, and that's just to get Strefan out 1 turn early, but it's pretty boring stuff, so I'll just skip those cards. But I will insist on talking about Drowsing Dagger. Our commander has an attack trigger, and he has flying. Drowsing Dagger is great here. If we equip and hit with it, it flips into a land that taps for 3 mana. If you have a similar commander, you should seriously consider Drowsing Dagger. I fucking love this card. We got Patchwork Banner as well. It just gives vampires +1/+1, which is really good value. The last ramp piece is Thematic Compass. Oh, what? You don't know what it does? Cool, yeah, don't look at the backside. Yeah, it's a fucking Maze of Ith.
Holy shit.
I know what I said. Too good for our opponents to overcome. Okay, but read the front. You see this? You need 7 lands to turn this into a Maze of Ith. It's not as good. There's a big difference between having Maze of Ith turn 1 and having it turn 7. But the other thing it does is make sure we hit our land drops. And god damn, hitting my land drops got me feeling like... And that's how we all feel, right fellas?
You're autistic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little, I don't know. I'm going to talk about my lands now. I'm very interested in them, my lands. So we have a bunch of dual lands. Skip those. And we have...
Temple of the False God.
Yes! Fucking love Temple. And we have 11 lands that can deal damage, 9 that can damage us, and 3 that can damage our opponents. So all of these help us get more blood tokens. Mount Doom can even do both. Pretty harsh place, I'd say. Geez, careful you don't run into any Australians down there. Oh yeah, Australians sound like, "Are you taking a piss? Are you having a shit, mate? Would you mind ever so deeply if I replace your bottle of water with 1 knife stabbing, mate?"
No, babe, that's England.
What?
England.
What? Oh, Oh, Bob Catter's Australian. Oh, I get it. Wait, yeah, no, let me try this again. Geez, careful you don't run into any Australians down there. Yeah, Australians sound like, "Oi, no, my bottle of water." Jesus Christ, bro. Can you fucking imagine sounding like that? "I lost my phone." Yeah, okay, you sound like you're dying. Fuck, that would be so embarrassing. And they all sound like that too. They try saying it's only some of them, but no, it's the whole place. Such an unserious island. Anyway, I'd just like to point out though, the lands in this deck, they cost a total of $215, and that's in US dollars too, so that's a fuckload of money. That is not worth it. There's a huge disparity between the value that these lands give you and the price that you pay for them. So I'm just going to say it out loud, proxying is okay. It should be primarily viewed as a cost-saving mechanism and not a way to up power, but that's a whole other video. If you don't agree with proxying and you don't want to pay so much, you can just run 38 mountains and swamps and you'll be fine. But again, I would have no problem with somebody proxying this entire deck, and people can't fucking tell either.
It even says it on the back, look, this is a real disc.
Back to the lands though. The other thing they do is protect Strefan. Now I have a kind of loose definition of protection in this deck because I'm including cards like Rogue's Passage, the Black Gate and Shizo Death's Storehouse that let Strefan get in without being blocked. I don't know if you've noticed this, but Strefan is only a 3/2, which is fucking terrible for 4 mana, but he does have flying. All it takes is our opponents to have a 2/2 flyer each, and we can't get Strefan's attack trigger anymore, which really fucks us. So we have these, and the more traditional protection like Malakir Rebirth, that's a land on the back, and it can rebirth Strefan if he dies. Talon Gates of Madara, which we can pay 4 to put it down and phase him out, and it's also technically ramp, I guess. And a card that's very new right now, Accursed Dunyard. Unbelievably underrated, I think. I've used it once in a game so far, but I regenerated Strefan like 6 times or something. Yeah, so if your commander's a vampire or a spirit or a zombie or one of the other ones, fucking grab this thing, it's great. These 6 cards are our protection lands.
Performance, 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 power!
And they all fucking slap. We have 9 other protection pieces as well, and I'll start with Not Dead After All. That does what Malakir Rebirth does, and Kaya's Ghost Form. That is the same except it's an enchantment, and it works with Strefan when he gets exiled as well, which is so fucking good. We got these 3, the very normal Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, and a newer addition, Brotherhood Regalia. It gives us Ward 2, and it also makes him unblockable, which I love. Very similar to Whisper Silk Cloak, which we also have, but Whisper Silk Cloak is more mana to get on Strefan. We also have Mithril Coat to give Strefan indestructible. And lastly, we have 2 spells, Imp's Mischief that can change the target of a spell with a single target, and Untimely Malfunction that has 3 modes, one of them just being the same as Imp's Mischief, one that does something I'll probably never use.
Who the fuck is that guy?
And one that destroys an artifact, which is great. That brings our total protection up to 15, which is kinda high. Our draw is 13 and our ramp is only 11. So why that number? Well, maybe you haven't noticed, but Strefan is really our game plan here. Like, yeah, he's not removal worthy, but he's still gonna get caught up in board wipes. And since he's both our primary way to generate tokens and to spend them, we really need him to stick around. Right, on to the really good shit though. We're starting with Creeping Bloodsucker. All he does is deal our opponents damage, but look at him. Ugh, creepy vampire. And we got a lot more vampires coming up. This video has given me a reason to practice my Count Orlok impersonation.
A succulent Chinese meal.
The next vampire is Vein Ripper. He's like a big blood artist. And I don't know about you, but I think this guy looking kinda fruity.
He's not gay, he's a singing man.
But he's gay.
He's not, he's a singing man. Some people are singing men.
Okay, but what about Zagreus, Thief of Heartbeats? He looks to me to be representative of the LGBTQI plus community.
He likes to do a jig.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I guess he's straight.
What was the other one he floated, his people floated with you, Clancy, they were looking at it to do with mental health being gay?
Yeah, he did mention that or something, I think.
So he thinks it is gay doing that?
Yeah, I guess Zagreus is definitely straight. My bad, man. Just, you know, the makeup, I thought. Anyway, he gives Death Touch also. Next is Malakir Blood Witch.
Does she have a vagina?
I do not know if she has.
She's ripped and her boobs are really swinging.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah, she enters, they lose life, we gain life for... Why did that lady say that shit to me? Sanctum Seeker, he be like... Look, at this point, you aren't watching a magic video anymore, okay? This is just a meme compilation. Yeah, you know what, Lucas? Put in the one meme where the guy from the show goes,
I'm better looks maxer than you, Rick.
You know that one? Yeah, I fucking love that meme.
Cause I'm a better Sigma than you, Rick. Cause I can mute and I can joke max. But you come back here and you destroy my edging streak.
Yeah. Nice. Bro.
You ain't got the first clue on that lock-in.
And put in a topical one too, Lucas. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was. Was that topical? I think I missed that one. And was that funny? Oh yeah, the card. Yeah, it does. Not that much. Olivia's attendants. Yeah, those are some bad bitches. They deal damage and then they make that many blood tokens. So that's going to be 6 blood when you cheat them in. Fucking crazy. And Ange, Maid of Dishonor, can make blood tokens too. And she can turn them into a win con with that pay 2 ability. But hold on, Watsy. What's with all these strong females in the art?
Should the men be giving the women too much problems and too much freedom?
That's not fair.
And they be having the issues because they get notions.
Woke again, Watsy? What happened to being sexist, Watsy? So sad to see them abandoning their roots like that. When I'm playing Magic, I want to be able to jack off at the table.
Huh?
Next, it's Mirkwood Bat. And I did say bat, not rat. This thing's another great payoff for our blood tokens. When we make or sacrifice one, each opponent loses 1 life, which is going to trigger a lot. Marionette Apprentice is similar, she's just the bat but less good. Kind of like Cranial Ram. Look, I'm a chill guy. I'm a normal guy, but this thing, I don't like this thing. Now, cranial plating, yes, a true classic. Love me some cranial plating. They do the same thing, which is buff our guy for each artifact we have, but the plating just feels more authentic. You know? This next guy, I think he thinks he's Batman, and he gives our vampires +1/+1 in first strike, which is kind of cool. We follow him up with another edgelord, captivating vampire.
I can't take anything seriously, Scalamousi.
Yeah, this guy is cringe, but he gives vampires 1/1, and if we have 5, we can steal a creature. It is pretty hard to get 5 though, so I wouldn't count on it. Maybe if we get our Bloodline Keeper, we can get to 5, since when you tap him, he can make himself some boys.
These are my boys, and they're always with me. And they support what I say.
If you do get to 5, you can flip him, and he gives our vampires +2/+2, and unlike those other guys, he actually looks sick.
I'm him. I've been him. I will continue to be him. Shit ain't nothing to me, man. I'll kill you, you stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, he's definitely him. Queensbay Paladin says when he enters or attacks, we get to return 1 vampire from the grave, which is sick. And Necropolis Regent...
It's a Tradgoth, don't listen, Tradgoth.
Hey, no man, we like Tradgoths, man. They're cool. Kinda. Plus this lady, she gets huge.
If my wife was here, she would headbutt the shit out of you.
And she makes the whole team huge. Whenever one of our boys hits a player, they get that many 1/1 counters. We're gonna have so many big boy vampires. Next it's Rising of the Day. Okay, show the meme for this one. Yeah, you guys don't understand that one, do you? I don't care. You know why? Because this is my video, and I get to decide what goes in it.
Who do you think you are? I am!
And Lucas, you have to do everything I say and put all the memes in everywhere, because I'm the boss of Rising of the Day, Legendary +1, Haste, which is Anger, When It Does, Mountain, Haste, Nighthawk Scavenger, he about to start.
I signed in with the haven't you people ever heard of?
Yeah, and then he card type 9 card types that could be bad. Like, that's a lifelink good vampire, and he's the last guy. If you guys upgrade your deck like this, you'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Oh, I was thinking more like play another clip from The Shining. That was a good clip though.
Yes, it is, Mr. Slattery. What will it be?
I'm not here to fuck spiders, mate.
Yeah, all credit to King Parrot for the whole video, probably. Right? Yeah, f it. I mean, if they want the rights to the video, just give it to them, man. I don't care.
Hey, yeah.
What was I saying? Oh wait, yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. So, the Universal Postal Union is a specialized agency of the UN with 192 members, and they determine how much it costs to send packages in between different countries. The entire world has agreed, through membership in the UPU, that sending letters or packages from developing nations to developed ones should remain cheap to give developing countries an economic advantage. The only problem with this being that China still pay remarkably low international shipping costs, since the union's not changed China's designation from developing to developed. Don't get me wrong though, lots of developed nations benefit from this still. This is why it's so cheap to ship things from China to everywhere else, but it's so expensive to ship things from like the US to Australia or Canada to Scotland. Sometimes shipping something as small as playing cards can cost up to $80 to... Wait a sec. Oh wait, magic cards?
Lucas! You mixed up my scripts! I have to have my scripts!
One card I have a serious gripe with is Glass Cast Heart.
Take that motherfucker. Get rid of that son of a bitch. Get on fucking eBay, buy a brand goddamn new one for $80.
Which came in the Precon and remains in 88% of decks, which is insane, because that's the same as Markov Enforcer, an absolutely fantastic card in the deck. So this thing can make you 1 blood a turn, and it can also make you a 1/1 on your turn, but it does neither of these things well. And then in the end, if you have 13 blood tokens, you can have each opponent lose 13 life and you gain 13 life. Now, let's just compare that to Mirkwood Bats. By the time you create and sack 13 blood, you will deal each opponent 26 damage. But the biggest problem with this card is you will never have 13 blood tokens in one go. I've played a lot of games with this deck, and I can remember a handful of times when I had 13 or more blood. And one of them was recently. It only happened when an opponent had a global token doubler on the board. So having said all that, these are our numbers. With all the overlap we can squeeze into the deck, we get 13 pieces of draw, 11 ramp, 16 removal, 15 protection, and we're running 38 lands. Now there are a couple of extracurricular categories that I've been mentioning throughout the video. So we also have 17 big vampires to cheat in, 15 cards that care about vampires, 6 cards that care about blood tokens or just other artifacts we control, and 34 that will help us make at least 1 blood token, with lots of them helping us make more than 1 or make them repeatedly. And those are the stats for the deck. Support me on my quest to eat a snail that may or may not be salubrious by leaving a comment down below, and you can expect a reply from me if I'm still alive. But once again guys, unsub from the channel. I was at 100 last vid when I asked you guys to please unsubscribe, and now I'm at 1500. Guys, this is not funny. I'm gonna get really mad at you if you don't unsubscribe right now.
I'm getting really sick of you!
But if you are subbed and you were waiting since the last vid for this one, sorry it took so long. I was playing Minecraft with my friends, which was way better than writing the script. I fucking hate writing and reading. Reading sucks. Why do people do that? I don't understand. You just watch YouTube videos. Anyway, see, I built a little tower thing, and this is my nice little house, and I made a bathhouse too, so that was lots of fun. Way funner than writing the script. But if you are hanging out for new vids, well, I'm sorry, but I'm too busy trying to convince 3D printer YouTubers to 3D print guns and writing nonsense on Facebook MTG groups. If you're struggling to understand any of the jokes I make, don't worry, you're not the only one. I made this meme, and I sent it to my friend who didn't get it because my girlfriend wanted a no sugar V.
How do I take something that could be said very, very plainly and code it or use cryptography to like make it harder to understand?
So just, if you don't get it, don't worry. Also, I'm doing a giveaway. Just look below in the comments for people who look like they could be me and send them gift cards. But for the lot, just don't redeem them. Unredeemed gift cards, please. Anyway, I have a Shrek video coming very soon, so stay tuned.
The Shrek is real.
I'm gonna really enjoy that one, and you're gonna really enjoy that one too. And if you watch this whole video, you are definitely my boyfriend now.